Welcome to the One Element Franchisee Cash Forecasting Excel that we've spent a long time working on. Just before we crack on with it, I want to warn you that the figures I put in are figures that I'm making up and I'm putting in. They're figures that reflect our current business, and we can talk about, you're very welcome to grill me on any of these figures, but they do reflect what I've done in the past. Now, they won't necessarily reflect your location, and it's important you do some due diligence, you do some research, you do some understanding on the prices for trainers, for your park rents, and the amount you feel you can charge for membership. So with these things in mind, we'll run through the model and hopefully it'll give you an idea of how your business could potentially work. So, franchisee fee, this is the cost. This £10,000 is inclusive of VAT, and that's your turnkey package to get you going. That includes your web page, that includes your trainer training and your training course to bring you up to speed. It includes all the marketing assets, the recruitment assets. There's a huge wealth of information, your operations manual, and so on. Then the next line down, this is your management service fee. So of your turnover, 11% is paid back to One Element Group, and that's to help us run our business and to grow more franchises and grow the brand. And then there's a marketing levy of 1% on your turnover. This goes towards national marketing to grow the brand nationally. Okay. So then, the franchisee launch package. So the total franchisee cost that we just discussed is £10,000. You're going to need some additional costs to get yourself up and running. So we think office equipment such as computer, printer. I've put in £1,000 there. You may have that stuff already. You may want more stuff. So you may want a more expensive computer and so on. You're welcome to change this figure. You can put in as much or as little as you like here. So whatever suits you. Legal and professional fees. This is your franchise agreement. Getting a franchise lawyer to look at your franchise agreement. Now, we've spent a lot of time on our agreement, but it's important that you have someone look at it, so we're both happy to move forward with this. Okay. And then you can put in any other costs that you feel are associated, and these will filter down to this total cost here. So that's your total cost for setting up your business, and as I say, it could be anything. I mean, these are just figures I'm putting in and reflective of what we've spent in the past and our franchisees in the past have spent. So total franchisee setup cost is 11,600. Now, working capital. I don't know what your current financial position is, but you're going to need to have some cash to get this business off the ground. So pre-launch marketing. You're going to need marketing for potentially the first 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 6 months as you're building the business, and while cash flow is just beginning to grow and improve. You'll also potentially need to pay yourself. So if you need to pay yourself, maybe for the first 2 or 3 months, we're looking at, what should we say, a total of £8,000. Or let's go £10,000. Let's go £10,000 just to make sure that we cover it all. But you can put whatever figure you feel is important in there and play around with it, because everything filters through to the next page. So that will make a total investment of 21,600. Now, the banks that we've been talking to who lend to potential franchisees will lend 70% of the total investment that you need. So this figure here, this 21,600, they'll loan 70%, 15,120. Of course, you can change that amount, and anything up to £30,000 you can borrow. I mean, you can, as a total investment, they're willing to give 70% of. So the debt repayment period is 5 years. That's the period of the first term of the franchise. And then loan interest payable is, I've put in 7%, but actually the banks have said between 5 and 7%. So that's right at the top end. Now, if you bank with the bank that's lending, they're likely to give you a lower rate, and if you've got a great credit history, they'll also give you a lower rate. But I've put in 7%, and this loan is an unsecured loan, so you don't need to put it against a house or something like that. They're confident in the business model, and that's why. Yeah. Okay, so relatively low startup costs, or very low startup costs. Next line down here are your fixed costs. This is your people. So if you're an investor, you may want to have a business manager on full time. So you could put one in there right the way through, and that would filter down to your costs here, and that would then filter onto the next page. I personally am going to run this because I imagine most people doing this will want to run their own business, and it doesn't take a great deal of cost to run your own business. You need to manage the members, you need to manage your rota, you need to recruit trainers, and you need to do your marketing. Once you've done those, you can get those done in 2 or 3 hours a day. As your membership grows, there is more work to be done, so there'll be obviously more people coming on, potentially lapsed members that you want to get in touch with. You'll be running more sessions, so you might look to get a part-time admin. Let's say you've got 300 members in year 3, you might want to get a part-time admin who can pick up and help you here, and then full-time admin year 4 or 5. So we put those in. This is your national insurance and pension contributions worked out on the next line here. This is your total cost, including wages and NI and pensions. Other overheads. Now I've filled these in. Office and rent. I'm assuming you're working from home. You don't have to work from home. If you want to look at how much a desk is in an office, by all means put that in. It'll filter through to the next page, and you can see how the business works. Utilities, again, I haven't put anything in because I assume you're working from home. Telephone, this is what I pay roughly per annum on mobile phone. Legal fees, we've got a number of accountants, or an accountant that works with a number of our franchisees who, this is for end of year accounts and PAYE and so forth. Business insurance, this is our trainers' public liability, and insuring our trainers. So this is reflective of turnover. So I currently have about 500 members, and we're paying £1,180, I think, per annum to cover ourselves there. So I've just made that a bit smaller for the first year. Broadband, this figure may be a little high, but I've put in £30 per month. Again, you may be at home, so you may not need to put broadband in. You make that decision and you put your figure in there that reflects you. T-shirts. So this is a really key one. We give our new members T-shirts. This means from their perspective they become part of the club. From our perspective, we've got large numbers of people coming from every angle across the common wearing our kit, and that's a great branding and marketing tool. So it's a good spend. It's worth doing. It's a marketing spend that we think is important. We've got everything set up there. We've got good contacts with our distributors that will give you that you simply need to inform them what needs to be sent where, and they do that. So next line down, stationery and print. This is not printing flyers and posters. This is things like forms, and if you need to do a training day, you can print off all our assets and take those down. Meetings and conferences. This is so you can come and meet us. It's just a figure we've put in to make sure that you've got some money here, but it's also if you want to do a meeting for the trainers and so on, or say quarterly meetings for trainers, you've got some money in there. License fees. This is things like Go Team Up, which is the member management system. It allows you to have really clear insights into the way the members, what the members are up to. If members haven't been for a long time, then we know that we need to get in contact with them. And all the KPIs that we know run this business are vital through the Team Up system. We've had a lot of work with them where we've changed the back end to reflect our business a little more. It's also put in I've also put in a cost there for an accounting software system. Bank charges. There's no bank charges associated with running a business for the first generally 18 months, and then it's about £5 a month going forward after that. Local advertising. I think I put in £200 a month plus an additional £400 in month one and £400 in month two, and that filters through to the next page. Again, you can change that if you want to bring that up to £500, £1,000 a month. That's your decision, and by doing that, you need to make some assumptions about what that'll do to your membership base. Okay, so calculations on turnover. Now this is quite an important. This is the important page. Firstly, this one on the right here. This is the fee that we charge our members. So in Wandsworth, we charge £39 for one session a week, or 5 sessions a month, and then £49 for unlimited. And we've got roughly our average membership is about £44, 43, £44. There's some student members in there as well. It's one of the most important KPIs in your business. If you can push that figure up, the average figure up, it'll hit your bottom line very quickly. Flat rate VAT. Okay. When you set up a business, until you turn over about, I think it's £80,000, you don't pay any VAT. Between £80,000 and I believe it's 200, maybe £250,000 turnover, you can go onto a flat rate scheme. Now, we're not a business like a building business where you're buying lots of material. Our main cost is our trainers. Hence why we're really interested in as lower VAT rate as we could possibly get. 8.5% is that, and that means that it's really important that you come onto that, and we'll give you all the instructions about how to ensure that your accountant is aware of this. So once the VAT's been taken off, this is your average membership fee. Park fees. In central London, we pay about £1,000 per annum per park. Divide that £1,000 by the number of sessions we're running in a park, and you get to £7. Admittedly, when you're running more sessions, the average price comes down because of the administrative costs from the council's perspective of setting them up. So we're actually only paying about £3 or £4 in Wandsworth per session, but I've put that up to £7 just to be conservative. The amount we pay our trainers, this next line here. Now, that may really strike you as a high figure, that £40, but I think it's so important that we pay our trainers well and that we have a very good relationship with them. These are the people that will build your business. They're the most important thing, the most important asset that we have. We train them up well, we look after them, and we pay them well. And as a result, they build good relationships with our members. They buy into the whole business model themselves. And your company, your location will be able to grow off the back of that. So hence the £40 per session. Now you can change that. It may be completely different. But personal trainers, where we're based, are paid between £40 and £60. So classes are generally paid between £20 and £30, and we've gone for £40 for our trainers. They're guaranteed that on every session that they take. Simple. This next line here, franchisee to do the first certain number of classes per week. So this one, it's important you change. When I first set up One Element, I was running 12 classes a week, and that was fine. I run 6. I still love doing it. 6 works for me at the moment because I'm working hard on the franchise business and also the Wandsworth business. So 6 is about right, I think. For me, you can change that if you feel like you can do more. And it's quite important because this number here then filters through to the bottom of this next page. So if I was to drop that to 0, you can see your teacher costs coming through here at the bottom. So let's just keep that at 6 because I'm making an assumption that most of the people doing this will be running some of their own sessions. Total number of members in your first month. So this, again, this green one you can change. So if I decide I'm going to have let's give it some context here. So you've done a load of marketing. You've flyered everywhere. You've posters up in all the local cafes. You've done some social media, you've done some Google AdWords, you've got all of your friends involved, you've got your friends of friends involved. You would expect, hopefully, to get a big number of members coming along to this first session. Not only that, whatever that figure is that you think will come down, reduce it slightly, and then we know that we can convert, at our current locations, about 50% of free trials into membership. So that gives us, so if I'm suggesting here that maybe I'll get 30 members to a free trial in the first month, and I'll convert 15 of them. I actually think across a whole month you might get 40 members to a free trial, in which case it would be 20 would convert into membership. And then new members growth month on month. I've put 15 in here, you can change that to whatever you think. Let's put 10 just so we're conservative. And remember to factor in churn. So this means that as you grow, you're going to have people who stop. You're going to have naturally people who move away, mums who have children who can't train for a while. So you're going to have up and down on here. So you need to factor in that when you're making these assumptions. So then this filters down to here. So number of customers or number of members. 20 is reflective of that first membership, and then that grows by 10 per month. I've actually leveled it off at month 18 to just grow at 5 members a month from then, but you can do that. Now then, the next line is the number of classes that you need to run. So I've pushed it up. Once you hit 50 members, 13 sessions here. That equates to 3 sessions a week. 3 4s are 12 plus 1 is the month, and then I've increased that to 5 sessions a week from here. So maybe you launch a daytime one. One thing I'd like to bring up at this point is this is reflective of one park. Okay, this isn't reflective of your entire territory. This is where the business model gets quite exciting. If you've got a territory that's got, I don't know, 5 or 6 parks in it, then you could replicate this 5 or 6 times. Admittedly, you might not be taking all the sessions. You need to factor that in for your trainer costs. But you could have as a little empire here with a number of different parks running. Okay, so as I say, you can change these, alter them as much as you like. I'm going to leave them in at those figures because I think they're sensible for now. So then we move on to the franchisee figures cost. And here we've got our projections for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. And if you can go through these and make sure that you're comfortable with all those costs. And they've come through from the previous page. And what we get down to is the net profit before tax. So this is how much profit you're making before tax. And you can start to get a real picture of how many members you need to have to make certain profit. And remember, this is on one park. This is not on your whole potential business. So then we're looking at what I tend to encourage people to do if they're running their own businesses or if they're entrepreneurial is not to look at year on year, because you can get a bit confused. Like, people don't pay themselves. You don't just take one dividend at the end of the year. You pay yourself on a monthly basis. So what's quite important is to understand when you're going to be making profit and when you're going to be making a loss, and actually when you're going to be making enough profit to pay yourself a healthy wage, a living wage, and then a healthy wage, and then as it grows from there. So as you can see here, we start off making a loss of £600, and that's only natural because you're only just getting the first few members on board. We're breaking even around month 2 to 3, and we're making profit, quite healthy profit, probably enough to start paying yourself in a month. On this example, about 7, and then as we move through, I tend to ask people to look at about month 18 to understand how the business will be functioning. But as you can see, it grows steadily, and that's because in the previous page we put in grow by 10 members a month. Okay. So by month 18, you're making a profit of 5,417 on this one park. Now, if you change this figure, so let's say I reckon I can get 20 members a month, then you see by month 18 you get a much higher higher amount. I'll move that back because I don't want to encourage you to be too optimistic. Let's also, so just to go back to this so we can see it, so 5,417. Let's say you wanted more money to get this business up and running. You could, let's say you wanted 18,000 to borrow. Alright, so then these figures should filter through here. You can see this is what your total interest is that you'll be paying back month on month. It's this line here. So with this, you can really start to figure out how much money I'm going to need to get my business going, and what the costs are associated with that. Is there anything else I've missed? I think that's it. Yeah, those profits on month, they are not cumulative. That is the profit you make each month. That's quite an important thing. Yeah, any questions you have at all, do give me a shout and speak to me. I'm very happy to discuss and answer anything, and you're very welcome to dig deep into the assumptions that I've made here. Okay, so hopefully speak to you soon. Many thanks.